I mean, it's really stopped me. I think fear has stopped me from a lot of things, not just career-wise. I mean, take my fear of bugs.
Well, that's
No,
another thing.
but
Well, that's true. Yeah, I mean,
it does prevent me from doing things.
yeah.
Hey everyone, and welcome to Life with a Cheri on Top. I am your host, Cheri Hagan, and today I am begrudgingly joined by my husband, Kevin.
Hello, love.
Hello, baby. How are you?
Great.
Good. All right. Are you ready for today's subject?
I have no idea. Fire it at me.
Okay. Ready?
I'm ready.
All right. I want to talk about like your biggest fears in life and what have they stopped you from doing? So when I was a kid, I was painfully shy. Well, I don't know. I went through as a small child, I was not shy at all. Then I became fugly and I got very shy. And that made me stop pursuing music as a career, like singing, because I was terrified of singing in front of anybody. Right. So that fear stopped me from pursuing that. Right. So is there anything in your life that has stopped you from doing anything like, people have a fear of public speaking which I totally can do blindfolded, but when I was a kid, I couldn't.
Yeah.
I will say my mother, the smartest thing she ever did was sign me up for speech class for public speaking because, and she didn't tell me, by the way. So I got my high school schedule. I think it was my sophomore year, might've been my junior year, whatever. And, you get, well, I don't know how they do it anymore, but you used to get your schedule ahead of time in the mail. Right.
Okay.
And so I got my schedule and I was like, I didn't sign up for speech class. And my mom was
Who
like,
would?
yeah. My mom was like, no, I signed you up for speech class because you need it. And I was like, what the hell? Like I was pissed. But it is the best thing she ever did for me because ever since then, doesn't bother me in the least to talk to, I've talked to crowds as large as probably 1,200 people. Doesn't faze me at all.
Yeah. I mean, I think as you get older, we all have to kind of do some of that. And I guess, if I can't really relate anything to me not doing something because I was fearful of it, but I was always, and still probably are in a little bit, fearful of failure, just in general.
Really?
I hate not being the best at something or whatever I'm working on or whatever I'm doing at the time. And it had certainly gotten in my way as a kid because it was, even just like I played darts for fun for years and then we got into a competition and got into a league and I had to be the best at what I was doing. I had to be the winner of everything, and you never are, but that's part of life is failure and part of life is learning from your failure. But it took me a long time to kind of work on that. I think figure that out. So I wouldn't say something redirected my career or stopped anything that I was trying to do, but it was always on my mind of, boy, what if that doesn't work out? Take a new job, and what if that doesn't work out? Or you've got a new opportunity. What if that doesn't work out? It always was in the back of my head, and it probably slowed me down a little bit, but it didn't stop it.
Yeah, no, it makes total sense. So fear has never stopped you from, like, it stopped me from pursuing singing. It stopped me from really wanting to go to college right after, like immediately after high school. I was like, well, I don't want to go to college. I won't have any friends. Like it really terrified me. And that's why I didn't want to go. I mean, I did eventually go to college because I wanted to do veterinary medicine.
Right.
But I didn't go immediately after high school. Like,
Right.
You know.
When everybody else.
yeah, when
goes the
everybody
next
else went to
semester,
school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I can't think of anything. I mean, I went to college briefly but
Yeah, me too.
I had a very good career going with, where I was working at. So
Yeah.
I picked the career over college. That wasn't fearful of that. I had older brothers that went to college, and it seemed like that would be fun. I've met them at their college and partied with them, and that's where a lot of their friends were created and made, and
Right.
that's I think that's a part of that lifestyle and everything. But I wasn't scared of doing that. I just chose the
Not
career
to.
path
Yeah.
versus school path. I already was in a very good position
Right.
as a store manager. Like, well, that's where else am I going?
Yeah.
But what am I going to take? I'm going to go to this classes for business or retail structured class. I'm going to teach them what's going on. I've already been doing this for 5 years. So yeah, I can't think of anything that would completely changed my thought of trying to do something or doing something because of really any reason.
Interesting. Maybe it, I don't want, I was going to say maybe it's more of a girl thing than a guy thing, but I don't think that's right.
No, not necessarily. I mean, I just, I always had that, and you're pretty much a perfectionist as well.
Totally.
So,
Yeah.
And I don't know if you can relate back to that, but I certainly do want to succeed and be the best that I can be now, but it really was, I was very competitive in anything I did. And I'd do it to the point of whatever it took type of thing, whether it was darts, football, baseball, anything that I played, it was like, you better be good at this or, or don't do it.
Right.
That, maybe that did change some things because I wasn't very good at basketball, although we in 8th grade or in, 8th grade, 7th, 8th grade, I forget. We won the Catholic championship for a very small school, St. Hubert's. So, we were good, but I wasn't that good.
You weren't the star of the team?
No.
Did you even start?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
I did in some, not all the time.
What position did you play?
Coach ran it around a little bit. I was usually a center.
You were a center?
I wasn't a big, we were small kids back then.
Oh,
I was still a big guy. I could hold my own.
I was a center, but I was 5'9" since I was 12.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. Huh. Okay. I mean, it's really stopped me. I think fear has stopped me from a lot of things, not just career-wise. I mean, take my fear of bugs.
Well, that's another thing. But well, that's true. Yeah. I mean,
it does prevent me from doing things.
Yeah.
Because I know it's an unnatural fear. I do. But
it's not though.
Freaks me out.
I don't think that's unnatural at all. I think that's very common.
Okay. And not 57-year-old women do not get up and scream like 3-year-olds like I do when a bug flies near me.
This is very true.
I have an unnatural fear. And it's like the other day I was showing a house. Okay. And we were in a dark basement with cobwebs and all kinds of things. Okay. And it was dark and there were no lights. So I'm just using my flashlight on my phone, which, by the way, I know I should have a flashlight at the ready, and I do. It's in my briefcase in the car. I didn't think to take it with me.
Way too far to go get.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I was like, oh, I'll just use the flashlight on my phone. Anyway, I'm walking around down there, and my head hits something, and I scream. And my client was like, oh my God, are you okay? And I was like, oh yeah, it's only an extension cord, but I thought it was a bug. And they were like, okay. Like it stops me from camping. It stops me from.
Yeah, there are other things that stop you from camping, but that is a part of it.
That is a part of it. Yes.
Part of it. But if a snake
the other
came
part
up
is
to
I
you,
can't shower.
Yeah, and there's a lot there. If a snake came up to you, you would grab it.
Oh yeah, snakes don't bother me at all.
But if a spider comes anywhere near you,
I'll
You're
scream.
running for the hills.
Yes and no. It's more of I mean, I don't like spiders, and I'll ask you to kill them, but you don't see me running out of the room most of the time, unless they're giant.
Yeah, it's more
It's a
flying
flying
insect.
bug.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree.
And I have short hair, and so I don't know if I'm fearful they're just going to like fly in my ear. It always sounds like they're going to be they're like flying right towards my ear. I don't know. It's a completely unnatural thing. And
I
can't get
chuckle
over
because those of you who are listening, you just have to imagine how this goes. But it's she is a very tough woman.
Yeah,
And
you always say I'm the toughest chick you know.
Until something flies at you. And then it's like, oh my God. And I mean, someone could be stabbing her and she would be screaming. I'd be, oh, it's probably a ladybug flying towards her. And I wouldn't even know. So I've got to pay more attention to that. But yeah, I have a fear of heights.
Yeah,
that's grown into me over the years.
Yeah.
But it doesn't stop me from getting on a helicopter or
an airplane.
Well, airplanes are, yeah. But we went up to the top of the Grand Canyon thing and walked out on that glass.
The sky ledge.
It wasn't in my comfort zone, but it didn't stop me from doing it.
Okay. No, it didn't. And I was super proud of you. However, I think it would have stopped you had it not been raining that day, because you couldn't really see.
Oh, I saw.
No, it was blurred because of the rain.
Yeah, but
it's not the same as going down on a bright sunny day.
Correct.
I am so not afraid of heights. Like, heights exhilarate me,
Mm-hmm.
right? I love to hike to the top of a mountain, or, I used to rock climb, or I love to be on the edges of cliffs or whatever. None of that bothers me.
There's differences there. Look, hiking to the top of a mountain, fine. Put me towards the edge of the cliff, no thank you. That's like, if I have to see
how
where
high you
I
are.
am, that's where I start.
I love it. I don't know why.
Well, it's your thing.
It's my thing, right? Unless a bug flies at me, and then I'm going to fly off the cliff.
Then you're off the side of the cliff, yes. Because you're too damn close to the edge.
Yeah. So really, nothing else. Because this is going to be a pretty short podcast.
Well, I mean, I thought you would have had more things you would have talked about, but no, not that I can think of. I mean, I've done a lot of things and stupid things, and nothing's really.
Man, fear used to. I would say from like 13, 16 for sure. Fear stopped me from doing a lot because I was so shy. As you get older, you get more comfortable with who you are.
Mm-hmm.
You just get more comfortable with yourself. But I'd say I had to be in my 30s, like probably 35, 36, somewhere around there, before I was like so entirely comfortable with myself
Mm-hmm.
that I just didn't care anymore what people ever thought about what it was I was doing or not doing. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that is a girl thing. Like, we're so judgmental of especially other women. I don't know why, but we are. I mean, it should be a sisterhood. And instead we turn on each other like snakes most of the time. I don't know why, but I was always more fearful of the judgment of other women than I ever was of men.
Hmm.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah, it's a little weird, but I get it. I mean, you want to be part of your peers.
Well, I guess.
Especially at that younger age.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's a lot that comes from all that, I guess, and not to go like so deep or anything, but I grew up with 3 older brothers, and they all kicked the shit out of me, and we kicked the shit out of each other. And,
right.
That's just kind of how it was. And I didn't care how people saw me or looked at me.
You know what? That's actually a really good point, because you did grow up with siblings. I never did.
Mm-hmm.
That's actually a really good point that I never even thought of, because maybe being an only child made me so more
Right.
self-conscious.
And you've got nobody to bounce anything off of
Right.
until you have that friendship that you can. But how do you build that friendship if you're,
Oh, I had friends, but
yeah, but you know what I
Yeah.
mean? But, you know, it's different having a brother or sister to,
yeah, that's actually very interesting. I never thought about that, but yeah. I mean, I knew I hated being an only child.
Mhm.
Like, hated it.
really. I
Ugh.
always wanted to be an only child. There's the other difference too. You want what you don't get. You don't
That's
get what
true.
you don't want.
You always want what you can't have. Yeah, I hated being an only child. Like,
And just kidding, brothers. I love you guys.
I hated being an only child because I was lonely.
Yeah.
Like, you know, both my parents worked from the time I was 5. So I was either at home listening to music on headphones, because my father was a cop. And so he worked shift work. And so when he was home, when I got home from school, most of the time he was asleep
Right.
because he was working midnights or
Right.
whatever, you know. So I couldn't make noise. So I would just listen to headphones and listen to music.
Mm.
And so I was just always alone. I couldn't have friends over because dad was sleeping, or I couldn't, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's you. Yeah, sure.
And I wasn't allowed to at other people's houses because my mother was a freak about like he's rolling his eyes, everybody, because she might listen to this, but she knows this. She was the most overprotective woman on the face of the planet.
Yeah.
In fact, when I ran into my pediatrician at Woodfield at the Sharper Image when I was an adult, right? I mean, I was in my 30s.
That's just weird. I would never even know who the hell my pediatrician was
Oh
if
my
I saw them
God.
that late.
Oh, Dr. Roble was his name. I was at the Sharper Image. I don't remember who I was with, but I recognized his voice immediately. And I walked over to him and I said, Dr. Roble, hi. I don't know if you're going to remember me. And he said, Cheryl Ann Eccles. Like, he knew, he remembered. And he said, and your father was a cop, I think, in
Wow.
Arlington Heights. And your mother was the most overprotective woman I have ever met in my life. He said that. So yeah, I was like, yeah,
That's me.
that's me. Thank you very much.
Nice.
True. Yeah.
That's
So
funny.
that's how I grew up. It's interesting that you say that because you had 4 brothers, you just didn't give a shit what anybody thought. And I never equated it to being an only child.
And especially as being the youngest. I mean, my thing was to try and impress my brothers, right?
Yeah.
I mean, my dad wasn't around after many years, so it's like I was just trying to always impress or one up them.
Right.
And that's all I cared about, really, you know.
I just never put that together. Like, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
That kind of makes me feel better about why I was the way I was growing up, you know, because I was just so, I mean, I was fiercely independent,
Yeah.
but also longing for family, you know, that
Yeah.
I just didn't have.
Yeah. Get
Interesting.
Yep.
Well, there you have it, folks.
that.
Kevin just solved
How about that? I should start my own podcast.
one giant mystery for me.
Solving everyone's issues one at a time.
Oh, see, you even have a tagline already. Oh my God. All right. And so that's the last podcast for Life with the Cheri on Top. Kevin's going to take over. I hope fear doesn't stop you from doing really what you want to do, because being on the other side of fear is really very exhilarating. Here's another example, I guess. Okay, I dragged Jamie with me. We were in Vegas. The zip line.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I really wanted to do the zip line, and it's super high, and heights don't bother me. Right. So I did not think that I would be scared even in the least.
Mm-hmm.
But this wasn't a normal zip line, by the way. P.S.
Yeah, it was.
I don't know why they even call it a zip line.
I don't know either, because it was more like it was a
ski
ride.
lift.
Yeah, it was a ski lift on a wire that went 100 miles an hour from the top of a hotel to another top of a hotel.
Right, to the rooftops.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was from the top of the Rio to the top of the
I forget which one.
I forget which one too.
But it's over that way. I don't even know if it's still there.
Oh, I don't either. I have no idea.
Years ago,
but I went and I didn't think I'd be scared. And Jamie was terrified. I'm sorry, Jamie. I know you're listening to this right now. Jamie was
laughing.
And I'm laughing. I'm sorry. Jamie was terrified when she got off the elevator. Actually, she was terrified while we were in the elevator.
The elevator was glass elevator on the outside of the building, and she's not good
terrified of heights. Yeah. But she, to her credit, she did get up on the roof with me. But then she was like, there's no fucking way I'm getting on this ride or doing the zip line. And I said, that's fine. You know? So she videoed it actually for me. And so I thought, well, this is just going to be a fun thing. And then I got on this ski lift kind of a thing.
Gondola. Yeah.
But there's nothing in front of you.
No.
There's no bar.
Right.
There's no anything.
Yeah.
So there's
there wasn't
nothing.
A seatbelt even?
There's no. There's nothing from preventing you
no wonder
from
it's not
falling
there anymore.
out. There's nothing.
Wow.
Except
you.
Right. So you have to sit the way you're supposed to sit and not move, right? And
oh, hell no. That's not me.
So Jamie wouldn't go with me. So one of the girls who operates the ride or whatever said, I'll go with you. And I was like, well,
you had to go in you had to go
in a pair
to keep it
evenly distributed. Yeah. The weight had to be evenly distributed. So she said, well, I'll go with you. And I'm like, well, who's going to operate the ride? She's like, no. I'm just about to get off work. Just give it 10 minutes, you know? So then her shift was over. So I got on the thing. And then all of a sudden I was terrified because there was nothing in front of me.
Right.
And I thought,
sneezed or
right.
Who knows? Right?
What if a bug flies at me? No, seriously.
Yeah.
If a bee had flown at me, I would be dead on the ground. Like I would have freaked out. Anyway, so suddenly I was terrified, and it wasn't of the height, because again, heights don't bother me. I think it was just the fear of
the security of it.
Yeah.
Sure.
But I did it. And then when I came back, because you go from rooftop to rooftop, and then you go backwards back to the original rooftop.
One of your other favorite things to do.
Yeah, I know.
Travel backwards.
Yeah, I get motion sickness easily. So I don't know what the hell I was thinking that this was going to be a good idea.
I don't know either.
But
I never.
Anyway, my point is, when I got off the ride or the zip line or whatever you want to call it, I was like,
trap.
I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I just did that. That was awesome.
Yeah.
Right. Even though I was terrified when it first started, when I got off that ride, it was like, oh my God, that was the coolest thing I've ever done.
Yeah.
Is that how you felt with skydiving?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I was paranoid to go.
By the way, the man terrified of heights went skydiving.
Not terrified. I mean, and it's growing on me. The height thing is, as I get older, I'm not liking the heights any further. So it's like back then, I had no fear of anything. I would have, and I did jump out of anything.
So the older you get, the worse the fear of heights is getting. I'm sorry. Okay.
And it's only because, I mean, there's so many little things. I don't know how deep we want to get into that. But no, when obviously you're scared as hell to jump out of a perfectly good plane. And, you know, but it took some time to do that. We had to actually circle back one time because there's an area to jump from, obviously. Yeah. So I missed the area.
Okay.
And then I was like, I'll go. I'll swear I'll go. So they had to circle back, and then I went with a tandem jump. But it was great. I mean, one of the most exciting things I've ever done in my life. But that first step is
a doozy,
like one you never want to take.
Yeah.
But I was going a different direction for a second, and I kind of forgot where I'm at. But it's, you know, there's a few things that you look at and you go, that wasn't that bad, you know, but you made a big deal of it. And because it's just what you think and how you operate, it's whatever.
Right.
I know where I was going. So just like when we walked out on that area over the Grand Canyon,
the sky ledge.
5 days later,
Yeah.
I saw the same situation. It was in Japan somewhere where they had this thing, sky ledge. The thing broke and 2 people fell through.
What?
We can look it up.
This did not happen.
No, I'm told you this. Look it up. I'm telling you, that's the shit that goes through my head when I'm on some of those things. I'm like, how long does one of those rides that you were on, the gondola thing, how long does that wire last? When is it going to snap?
Oh my God.
That's
how
that's
your
why
mind
I
works.
don't do some of those things anymore.
Yeah.
And I used to do them going, well, I could give a shit if it snaps. I'll grab onto that and swing across the other fucking way. I didn't care. But now I'm like, if it snaps, what do I do? I'm just, I'm going down.
Yeah.
And the more you think about that, the less things you do. So I try not to think about it. But some of those things cross my head, and it's like,
That is true.
Walking out on that piece of glass. I'm not a small man.
No.
I've got some weight to me. And I'm like, is this really, am I going to push it over the edge because I'm the weight guy? And, so it just, those things disturb me. And that's what makes that a little bit more of a challenge. But I try to put them away and say, this wouldn't be here if it wasn't fully tested and tested daily. But,
I think I literally think facing your fears is the best thing you can do for yourself.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
It drives confidence. It gives you, the ability to not be fearful of it any further, or at least know you can overcome it if you still have a little fear.
Right.
You can get back in there and do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish there was something I could do about bugs. I really do. I wish there was something I could do, but I don't know what that thing would be, right? I have no idea how to get over this fear.
Yeah, I mean, there's just being in them, being in the bugs.
Yeah, no,
which is not going to happen. Yeah, I mean, but we sit out on the patio or something. Whatever it is isn't going to kill you, but your reaction is it is going to kill you.
I know. It's a completely illogical fear. I totally understand that. I just don't know how to get over it. Other things
Hypnosis.
You can get over. Does it work?
I have no freaking idea.
Does hypnosis work? Has anybody ever been hypnotized and
to stop smoking or
something?
Anything, right?
Change
a habit, or
if this has worked for you, please write in. Seriously.
I'd be curious, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know of anybody who's been. I know somebody who was hypnotized and made fun of on stage. But that's a different scenario.
Okay, but is that still a thing though? Were they really hypnotized?
Yeah, according to them, they were. They didn't have really an idea what they were doing.
I just don't get that.
I don't either. I
am such a control freak. I would challenge somebody to hypnotize me. I don't think it can be done.
Here we go. You've heard it here, folks.
All right. Well, the point of the podcast is to face your fears and push through them and get through to the other side, because I promise you will feel so good about whatever that fear is, right?
Yeah. I mean, challenge your decision. There, whatever it is, it can be overcome.
Yeah.
I think, but except for the bugs. Again, I don't know.
I really wish there was a way. Hey, if anybody knows of a way, seriously, write in and tell me what it is. Because I'll say this.
Screen in the whole outside.
Yeah, right. I'll say this one story because it was such an irrational fear, even when I was a small kid, that my mom and the neighbor lady, whose name was Anita and my mom collected bugs in a jar for weeks and then put them on themselves, like on their arms and on their legs, to show me
nothing happened,
that bugs aren't going to hurt me. However, this was like my worst fucking nightmare. And they call me outside and they're covered in bugs, and it traumatized me. Yeah. It did the opposite of what she intended.
Whoops. Yeah. Maybe we should try that again.
No.
Come on.
No. Not a chance in hell. Are you kidding me?
Yes, I am.
Okay. like, can you even imagine?
No, I can't.
I've held snakes. I've done the Britney Spears thing with that giant snake on me when we were in Cabo, whatever.
Yeah.
That shit doesn't bother me at all.
Yeah. I was waiting for that, like, to bite somebody too.
Yeah, no, it just doesn't even bother me. But something flying at me just freaks me out. Well, not birds, just bugs. It's just a bug thing. All right. That's the end of that. So thanks everybody for listening. I hope you face your fears, get through whatever it is, and I promise you'll feel better on the other side. Thanks for listening. If you'd like to comment on this or any other show, you can do so by going to the website, which is lifewithasherryontop.com, or you can email me at lifewithasherryontop@gmail.com. And please hit that subscribe button. Have a great week, everybody. We'll talk soon.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.